I just went blank. Mortgage
Solutions Financial.
Mortgage Solutions Financial. So he actually is from Colorado and it flew into Oklahoma City to be on this. So I'm truly excited. I'm blessed. We've not only had a business relationship, but we've begun a friendship also outside of it. And I love that. I love being a part of your atmosphere is the fact that you're so humble, like truly humble. That's one of the things that I want to be a part of, and I think that's one of the things that myself and David, your branch manager here in Oklahoma City, have joined together. We've made that friendship. And I think that's a big part of you being in this business is having that humble to where you do talk to people. And it's not like you're closed off, right? There's not a boundary between me and you.
No, life's too short to take yourself that seriously, right? And people use titles to insulate themselves from everybody. And I don't believe in titles. When I introduce myself, I say, my name's Rob. With Mortgage Solutions, I don't talk about title or anything else because it's irrelevant. We're all people, right?
Right.
So we all feel pain the same. We all have family issues. We all have life issues, and
absolutely
title doesn't make anybody any better than anybody else.
No, and that's one thing that's truly I've gotten from you is you're just like us. I mean, you want to help, and that's why you're in this business. I believe, is the fact that you want to help people. Like I said earlier, we were actually watching a video from you about 5 years ago, and you talked about helping someone that was living in a hotel. Like, that's tremendous. And you called those people personally. That's amazing.
I still talk to them. That actually that family, the wife of that veteran is a realtor now, and she sends us business every week. I mean, she's great.
That's awesome.
Her name is Amber Pruitt, and I'm gonna send this to her because she's amazing.
That's awesome. Awesome. So tell me what got you into this business? We all have our stories. I mean,
sure.
I came from the car business, so
I moved to Colorado Springs on my 18th birthday in 1995, and I was selling perfume in parking lots in Southern California. Oddly enough, I was too young to get a job.
Watches.
Yeah, no, just fake perfume. And it was funny because they would drop us off in a mall, and there'd be one person that had a car, and in the back of the car, in the trunk of the car was all the perfume. So you'd walk around and you'd talk to people walking into the mall, and you'd say, hey, if you're going to buy perfume, I have blah, blah, blah for half price. And nobody would ever buy it from me because if somebody's walking into a Nordstrom's, they don't care about half off
right.
perfume. So I realized that I was selling the wrong thing to the wrong people at the wrong place. And then I started thinking about what my family did, my aunts and uncles and everybody when I was a kid, where they were on the 1st and 15th. And I went to check cashing stores then. So I went to a check cashing store and I stood in front. And then I realized I wasn't selling perfume. I was selling status. I was selling something that they otherwise couldn't have. And they ate it up. And I sold out every time I went. You only made money on the 15th and the 16th and the 1st and the 2nd because by then all the money was gone. But
facts.
But it was really interesting because I identified who my audience was, who I was trying to sell to, where I should sell to them at, and what I was really selling, because I wasn't really selling perfume. And I moved to Colorado after that when I turned 18, and I was a bar back at a TGI Fridays. I worked at a couple sporting goods stores, and then I sold lady shoes at Dillard's. And then I got that was rough. And then I got a job at Helzberg Diamonds, and Helzberg Diamonds told me I can have Thanksgiving off, and because I was going to go to Breckenridge with my family for Thanksgiving, and then they decided the week before to say I couldn't go. So my dad, who started the company, said, "Well, son, it's time you come work in the family business. Just quit and come to Breckenridge." So I quit, and I started telemarketing on December 1st of '96. So
I was 16.
It's been all. I'm the oldest guy in the room. It's been all.
I was in Lowrider magazine in 1996, actually.
That's a different story, I'm sure. But that was it. I got into it. I was a telemarketer. ran the telemarketing room, and then I became a loan officer, then a branch manager, then I got my MBA, and I became the VP of sales, and then I became president. But it took, I mean, it was
a journey.
I'm 27 years in the business now. I mean, it was a long road.
So which is completely awesome. I love the fact that you started from the ground and you've worked your way all the way to the present. Like, that's incredible. So your company, being a part of it and being in multiple states, what is it that you want to provide for our community? I mean, I know that's something that myself and David talk a lot about.
Yeah. You know, we want to provide service without limitations to veterans. And of course, everybody can do the easy loans. Everybody can do the good FICO, good credit, good debt to income ratio loans. Right. Every other company can do those. But when you want somebody to fight and work for the veterans, that's who we are. My dad has this saying that our veterans don't put overlays on their service. They won't say, I'll go to Iraq once, but I won't go twice. Right?
Right.
You can't do that. You say, I'm going to go where you tell me to go, sir, when you tell me to go there. And my dad's a retired Air Force vet, so he can say those things. So we don't want to put overlays on our programs. So we don't have overlays on our VA loans. We don't have overlays on our FHA loans. What we have are defined parameters. And VA keeps things ambiguous purposefully. They want you to make the decision as the lender. So they keep their guidelines ambiguous. So we've defined the guidelines, and we've defined what we will and will not do to a very large extent.
Right. Which I know I've been on several transactions with David that he's done that for us. Even in the case that I've had to call you and you reached out, we figured it out. So it's an honor. It's a pleasure to be a part of the company like this. And being in the real estate on my side, I try and help these clients, but it's us working together that makes it whole.
It's the only way it works. It's
right.
The only way it works. We've all been in those transactions where it feels like it's us against them, and there's no cohesiveness between realtor and lender, and that creates a terrible process and feeling for the borrower, and also you don't go to a closing feeling like you accomplished anything.
Right.
So yeah, you've got to be on the same page.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. So as the CEO, like, what is your day-to-day stuff? Like, what do you do? Like, one of the things that me and him was talking about, it's like, hey, does he just sit in his gold chair and hang out? What is that what you do? Like,
I have a standing desk.
I have a Joker chair, by the way. Yeah. So
no, I have a standing desk. I do stand and sit, but no, I don't sit behind my desk, my feet propped up, and smoke cigars and count money.
Just hang out.
That's what everybody thinks. A CEO's job, it varies for every company, for every CEO. It's all different. There's no book for it. And the majority of what you deal with, it's not loan related issues. It's people issues. Mm-hmm. So I don't very rarely do I get in the middle of a loan, maybe 2-3 times a day, because I have 413 other people in the company to do that.
Right.
So when they reach an impasse, they come to me with the impasse, and I make the business decision as to how we're going to proceed. A CEO's job primarily is strategy and vision and tactics. Where do we want to go, and how are we going to get there? What do we want to be? How do we keep all of our people together and keep them all happy and keep them all feeling like they're part of the team? And it's also, I'm the culture is my main focus. You got to keep the culture. You can't just say you care about culture and then sit back and not focus on it. So it has to be a big focus.
In one of your past videos, you talked about family, talking about how you don't want to get to the volume to where you don't know your people. You don't know those.
Yeah. We want to be big enough to be a player and small enough to keep our soul. We want to be small enough to be able to for me still to be able to come and do this, and me to be able to go and meet all the branch managers and get on the road and actually talk to people. That's really important. And if you get too big, you can't do that. There's too many people. So we don't want to be the biggest. That is not in our. It's not in our.
It's not in your book.
No.
Not at all.
We want to be a $3 to $5 billion lender, and that's it.
That where you're happy. And that's the thing is, you know how to run the business very successfully, and I know David has talked to me about you guys take trips with your branch managers and do stuff together.
Yeah. When we set a goal every year. This year we set a goal, and if we hit $2 billion in volume this year, we take the whole company to Mexico for 5 nights. And this isn't just the producers. This is the receptionists. This is the people that work on our building. This is everybody in the company,
Everybody
and their spouse.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know any other company that would do that.
Well,
I just don't.
It's disruptive, and it's really expensive. But the great thing is, you look at the pictures when we get back from the trip. You look at the pictures, and you're not looking at David Dustman at the pictures of him. You're looking at all the people in the background, and how happy they are, and how excited they are, and how it's a new experience for them. And it being together outside of the country in a all-inclusive resort together for 5 days is powerful.
Absolutely. I think it builds that relationship, that connection with everyone.
100%.
And just like you focus on the people that are actually helping you take this company to that level that you want, to the $3 to $5 billion volume. And that's powerful. That's truly powerful to have someone sitting in your seat that will connect with someone, connecting with your branch managers or the secretary. I think that means a lot to not only myself being an outsider, which I use David for my loans and whatnot, but I think that shows with the people that you help with the mortgages, because we can talk to them about it.
Yeah. And one of the things that we also do is I give my cell phone number to everybody who starts in the company. Every single originator, every receptionist, everybody's in the company. They get a green book, and at the top left-hand corner of the front page of the green book, I put "Welcome to the family. Call me if you need me," and I put my cell phone number down. And I tell everybody at training, if you ever leave without calling me, you're a quitter, because I'm offering you the bat phone to call when you have a problem, so we can fix the problem.
That door is open.
The door is open, and if people choose not to walk through it, I can't do anything about that. But you've got to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to open up it eats up your nights and weekends. It eats up your mornings. It eats up your morning drives and your evening drives. But when you're in this position, you have to be. My family accepts it. They know what they signed up for. So,
so does my wife. She all the things I get myself into, it just happens. She's like, Gabe, there's 24 hours in a day. I'm like, I'll add somewhere.
Right. Like, I don't need 8 hours of sleep.
And I can't remember last time I got 8 hours of sleep, but I think that's one of the things that I truly love about your company is being able to just not only talk with you, but seeing the passion that your employees have for your company says a lot. And, people say it all the time that it's culture and how you treat your people. Myself with my brokerage, I don't want to get big, just like you say, because I want to be able to help my agents. I want to help them grow, and I give them the tools, just like you guys provide a CRM for the agents that you work with. It's one of those things. It's only as good as the information you put in it.
Yes.
And if you don't put the information in it, it's worthless tool.
You're not going to get anything from it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's another positive thing, is that you guys, you not only work with your employees, you work with the realtors that are in this business and want to help them grow.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I truly am blessed to be a part of. I've been with David since he started with your company, actually, since day one. And that's, to me, that says a lot, for my relationship. And everyone knows, no matter how many transactions you do, not all of them are perfect.
Right. Well, one of the things that I believe that we add value to the realtors we do business with, because your marketing dollars go further. You can say yes more, right? There's less, you can throw deals at us that other people would say no to. And we're like, well, hey, we can do this. We can get it figured out. We can get it done. So your marketing dollars go farther because we're able to say yes to more things
Right.
than other companies can. And it's not tooting our own horn. It's a choice. When you do difficult loans, when you do loans for tougher credit borrowers,
They have challenges.
There's a lot of financial risk that there's a lot of contingent liability the company takes on. So one of the things that not many people know about is if a borrower doesn't make their payment and we service the deal, we have to make the payment to Jenny Mae. Our company does.
Right.
So there's a significant cash outlay that is necessary if you do these tough deals. And not many people want to keep that much money in the company, but we've been doing it for 27 years this way. So we're just used to it.
And I think the one of the things from my side seeing it is the fact that you're giving some people their last chance to buy a home. In reality, you really are. You know, they've went somewhere and they're like, oh, we got pre-approved, and then a week before closing, they get the phone call of, hey, we're not closing. Right? That's the worst feeling in the world. You know, and that's one thing that I will truly say, I know that I've given David some sticky transactions and he gets them done, you know, one way or another. You guys come through and pull that thing together. So, you know, it's a blessing to see that.
But it's defining your space in the market. And we don't want to be the company that does everything, right? Everybody's got to have a niche. And if you try to be all things to all people, you're going to end up letting everybody down. So if you have a defined niche and your defined niche is X, you can do all the other loans. We can do all the clean loans. We can do all the other stuff. That's easy.
That's just the
right
icing on top.
Yeah, the hard stuff that is what you focus on. And if you do that, everything else just falls into place. But you know, brokering out to other companies and doing these jumbos and these loans that are just out of your control, that's not our
it's
thing.
not your thing.
No.
Right. So let me ask you, for 2024, what do you expect our market to do? Obviously, we've had that little bit of the higher interest rates, which in reality are more common if you look back on history, right? They're not high. I mean, 8 and 9%. I know I talked to my dad and he said he bought a house and it was like 16, 17%.
Yeah. my dad loves to tell the story about his first house was 19% with 5 points.
Exactly.
But I think that 19, 20, and 21 ruined the perception of the younger generation of what interest rates really are and what they really should be, because there's no rational reason why 2% interest rates should exist. It was to spur the economy, it was to keep things going.
Right.
It stayed too low for too long, and now we're paying the price for it. So 2024, you know, there's still a tremendous demand.
Oh, absolutely.
For housing, and there's still a very limited supply, which means I believe that housing is going to continue to maintain its value. We won't see the meteoric increases in price like we did, but I think we're going to see the same values. The stock market has built in. Earlier this year, they said they built in 6 rate decreases from the Fed funds rate, and that's bold. They recently downplayed that to 5 rate decreases, and the Fed said consistently it's going to be 3. I don't fight the Fed because you can't win.
Right.
And the stock market's bold. They can do what they want to do, but I don't fight the Fed, and I believe that we'll see 3, maybe 4, if we're lucky, decreases.
So in Oklahoma, and this is my opinion, but I believe that Oklahoma needed that bump for the real estate market as far as what our values are worth. I think we were a lot lower than the national average. You know, but I think the issue that a lot of quote unquote first time home buyers now in Oklahoma, the household median is like 52,000. Like that doesn't buy the first time home buyer house that's 270.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And there's been this it's a creep it's a DTI creep. So there's two ratios in mortgages that matter when it comes to debt. There's the front end ratio and the back end ratio. Front end ratio is just housing divided by your income.
Right.
The back end is housing plus all your debt divided by your income.
Utilities.
Yeah. Well, not even utilities, just your debt on your credit report. Not cell phone bill, not utilities, none of that is included in it. But what we've seen over the years is we've seen the front end creep from 22% to 26% to 30% to 38% to 40%. And now people are spending half their income, pre-tax income, on their mortgage.
Ouch.
And on their rent. It's not just their mortgage.
Oh yeah, rent has gone up.
I mean, this is across the country. This is not unique or specific to any one area. This is across the country.
So how do we as realtors, as brokers, loan officers, how do we combat those people that have that 52,000, but the inventory is not there? And none of us really want to put you in a rent house, right? Because the American dream is what? To own a home.
To own a home. I think
that's a hard question.
But I think it's very much like it used to be, where you're going to have co-signers. You're going to have families cohabitating.
So do you see, and I know I don't do mortgages, but I know there's ways where you can have a borrower or someone on the loan that's not in the house.
Yeah, non-occupant co-borrower.
Right.
Yeah, co-signer essentially. Yeah.
Right. So do you think that we are going to utilize that more moving forward?
I can see that happening. I already see it happening. The problem with that is that doesn't absolve the occupant. That doesn't fix the problem.
No.
The problem is that wages aren't keeping up with the pricing of houses. That's the problem. Now, there's two things there's a few ways to adjust it. When the rates drop over time, that'll fix the issue, part of the issue. Or we can have a housing correction, and nobody wants a housing correction. No. But the environment isn't right for housing correction because there's still tremendous demand and there's still limited supply. So a housing correction isn't going to happen. The most likely thing is the rates are going to continue to drop like we've seen over the last few months. And that will be the solution. It's not a quick one, but it's a solution. So people, God, I hate saying this. I can't believe I'm going to say it. But there's a saying that came out a couple of years ago, and it was marry the house, date the rate. And it's this, God, I hate myself for saying it. But you can always, over time, refinance to a lower rate.
Right. And I agree with you. I actually did a video that said that, but at the same time, it's one of those things that I tell people is like, listen, you are dating that rate, but make sure you're comfortable dating that rate, right? Don't be, as myself and my buddy Mike talked about, is don't be house poor, right? I can buy a $1 million home, but if I can't fill it, how do you build memories in a house that you're house poor?
We were talking about that at lunch. That there's the problem with going from a 1,500 square foot house to a 2,000 square foot house is now you have to furnish a 3,000 square foot house, right? So you're going to have this house that's bigger, but you're going to have half the furniture in it, right? The rooms aren't going to be full. It is such an emotional purchase. A home is such an emotional purchase. And then you make this decision to buy this home based on emotion. I got to have this home. This is the house. I have to have this one. I know it's going to be $400 more than I'm comfortable with. I'm going to find a way to make it work. I'll work a part-time job. I'll do this. I'll do that. And the truth is, a lot of home buyers are one catastrophe, one broken water heater away from missing their payment. And it's a matter of overlaying fiscal responsibility with the desire to own a home. And that's where the lender and that's where the realtor have to be on the same page, because there's some realtors that will say, hey, well, what's the max they can get approved for? Right. And I'm going to find them that house. And then there's some that say, hey, what payment lenders, what we say is, what payment are you comfortable with?
Correct.
And then we get that payment and we see what that payment correlates to as far as sales price. And then we say, well, they're comfortable with this. And some realtors will say, oh, yeah, no, I'm not going to, right?
They veer away from it,
Right.
to say the least.
And then they say, well, what can they qualify for? Not what are they comfortable with? What can they qualify for? And I think sometimes that's how we get in trouble, right?
Oh, I absolutely agree. I hate to say it, but I've got a personal close friend that did that, and they went with someone that I suggested not to. They signed the papers, and now they've been in the house for a few months, and they're struggling.
It's tough. Yeah.
That's tough. That's a tough situation.
And you don't think about the increase of little things. So, okay, so I'm living in this house. My utilities are X, my everything is Y, but you go to a bigger house and you get the faster internet because it's available there.
Yeah.
And then you get your utilities are more expensive because now you have 2 heaters and 2, right? I mean, everything starts to add up.
My upstairs heater never shuts off.
Right. So you get people have to be aware of what they're doing, and that's why real realtors and real lenders, that's why we exist, is to help educate them of what to look for.
Oh, absolutely.
How to qualify themselves.
I think that's the realtors that are going to be still in this market are the ones that actually take the time to learn their process.
Yes.
Right. I think this 2024 is going to be challenging for some, because if they did only market that quote unquote first time home buyer, it's not to say that it's gone, but here in Oklahoma, there was a company that was building houses that were 150. That same identical house now is 240.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing different.
And that's
nothing.
And that's not just inflation. I mean, there's other things going on,
right?
Other market forces for sure.
So, all right. So we've done a lot of the serious stuff. So tell me something about you that people don't know. I know one thing, and that's going to be you do an awesome turkey call.
Yeah, that is true. In my neighborhood, I have turkeys, mountain lions, bears, bobcats, all the things, and you have to talk to the turkeys to make them go away so that I can send my dogs out, because turkeys are jerks. They're not
really.
Yes, they have this claw on their
foot thingy,
and they just they'll like coyotes are afraid of them, so they're
wow.
So yeah, we got to go out there and yell at them to make them go away. So I mean, nobody knows. God, I'm pretty much an open book.
I will say he does collect watches. He's not a shoe person, but does watches.
No, I collect watches. Was born in England, Air Force Base in England.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
There's that. 2 daughters, wonderful little girls, 14 or a 15 and a 13-year-old.
Mine are 15 and 17. So yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, try paying that insurance payment.
Oh, I'm starting. I start in a few months. Should be fun.
Yeah, make sure your insurance guy's good.
He is.
So I want to say thank you for joining, especially being my very first podcast. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to, go above this one, because I don't know that I can.
There's plenty of awesome people you'll be able to bring on. These are so good, just to be able to get the name out there and to show who you really are. Right. People have these preconceived notions of people that own real estate companies and people that run mortgage companies that we're these elitist snobs.
Right.
That could not be further from the truth. Certainly there's some out there, but that's not everybody. The interesting thing is money doesn't change who you are. It truly reveals who you are. Mm-hmm. And it reveals the kind of person you are, because when you don't have money, typically you have to be nice.
Right.
You have to be respectful, you have to be kind. When you do have money, you don't. So who are you? Who are you going to be? Absolutely.
And that, like I say, I can't say it enough, that how humble you are. It's something that I love, and it's it's an attraction for anyone that wants to be, part of your life. One of the things that I was talking to my buddy about is surrounding yourself with people that you are inspired by, that you talk to. If you sit at a table and you're talking about money, you're going to build. You sit at a table where you're degrading things, you fall apart, right?
Right. It's that old saying that if you hang out with
Absolutely. So yeah, so I just want to, I want to bring you back at some point, but how do we get a hold of you? How do we get a hold of your company? You guys have done so much for myself, for my business, building my business. I own my own brokerage now, and you guys are a huge, huge part of it. So
listen, I would say very few people in the business are as good as David Dustman, and you can find David Dustman on your website, or probably on the link here, right?
Yes.
So David Dustman is the guy to go to, and you'll be hard pressed to find somebody who knows VA better than David, or any other program that we offer. But I would focus on. I'm sorry, I got lost there for a second. I would reach out to David Dustman. We're at mortgagesolutions.net. I don't know what your link is, but I'm sure we'll be connected to the.
We'll have it. We will definitely have it in the video, and we'll have it in comments and whatnot. Yeah. So please, click that link. If you guys have any questions, reach out to myself. That's one thing that I'm very good with is being able to communicate. And that's one thing that I love about your guys' company is you have that tool built inside your own company. If I have a question, man, I can text you, and it's like, hey, this is what I need, or hey, guess what? This is what my brisket looks like. So
right. It was great.
So yeah, so that's one thing that I really do appreciate. I love the fact that you guys are here in Oklahoma. David Dustman's a big part of it. I do training classes here. I host your guys' banner in my CE class, and it gives that opportunity for you to reach other brokers, not just myself. Sure. Or not just my agents. So I do appreciate that. If there's anything that you want to promote or want to say, please feel free.
No, just thanks for having me. Thanks for taking the time to put this together. I enjoyed being here.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
Need one question from the producer. Can you guys tell me why the 49ers suck so bad in our
Yeah. If they lose, it's because of the Swifties. That's it. Oh. If they lose, it is a conspiracy from the top down.
Yeah. It's the refs. The refs are coming from Kansas City.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I'm good.